If you had a chance to change your physical and mental health, what would you do to make it happen? To be the person you and everyone who loves you wants, hopes, and knows you can be? Could you commit 100% to that effort? I did, and I would do it all again without hesitation. This is my story, and I hope it helps you take that first step on a similar journey. My first step started on New Year's Day 2020. My wife Jessica told me that she could not understand why she was still with me. We'd just come through the worst holiday season of our 14 years together. Right before Thanksgiving, I'd been forced to admit that I had run up over $10,000 in credit card charges. Again. This was the third time, and coupled with my habit of drinking way too much beer and an overall terrible attitude towards pretty much everything, I can't say I blamed her. Honestly, the only reason that Jessica stuck around was the hassle and inconvenience of doing otherwise. I certainly didn't deserve her loyalty with what I'd done. She told me this bombshell as I was taking our 1-year-old daughter to put her down for her nap. I sat in her room and cried as quietly as I could for what felt like hours. But I came out of her room resolved to make meaningful change. I'd promised to change before, and I'm sure Jessica's only thought was, here we go again. This time though was different, but I had no idea what lay ahead of me and how different it would truly be. Global pandemic, virtual workouts, cancer in my family, gym closures. Shall I keep going? Honestly, looking back at it, it's absurd that I've made it to this point. If I'm honest though, I knew I needed to change. I'd loathe the person I'd become. I'd recognize I needed to address my physical health. I'd let myself get significantly overweight. I knew that after years of trying to drown it in beer, I needed to address my mental health as well. I had friends who were Farrell's members in a different state, and I'd seen them program in action. With that knowledge and a list of places to call that offered mental health services, I made the 2 scariest phone calls of my life. I signed up for the 10-week challenge and set up an appointment with a therapist. I ended up having my first session with my therapist on the same Saturday I did my initial 10-week challenge test in. To say that Saturday was hard is the biggest understatement of my life. I laid bare all of my shame, both mental and physical, that day, and I'm amazed that I came to my first class at Farrell's and my next appointment with my therapist. It was soul-crushing to be faced with the fact that the person that I had become was the opposite of the fun-loving and athletic person I once was. But I did come back, and it probably saved my life. I'd make that first effort, never make it a habit, and certainly never come back. I didn't have resiliency. This time though, I came back again and again and again and again. I kept coming back for more. I'd finally learned how to be resilient. Instead of running away from the hard things, I ran at them. I'd found a program and I'd found the people that I needed. I will forever be in the debt to the people I met in the wee hours of the morning at Farrell's. They accepted me as I was. They taught me, they encouraged me, and they kept me accountable. We laughed, sweated, and swore together for close to an hour, all before most people get out of bed in the morning. I cherish those friendships, and I know I will follow their stories for years to come. It's an honor to be counted as their friend, and work out with them even now. It was in the middle of the 3rd week of my 10-week challenge when I was at an appointment with my therapist, and I was excitedly describing those classes and the 5 a.m. group of people. He asked me, in classic fashion, "Tell me about why you think this is working for you. How is it making you feel?" I told him that we were all equal in that moment, in those classes. Not one of us smarter, stronger, faster, or better than the others. We succeeded only when everyone did. We were there suffering together, and we're all better for it, he said quietly. Is that sort of like how you used to suffer together with people at the bar late at night while you drank that beer and ate that good food? I can't tell you how long I was silent after he said that, but it must have been a while. To this day, reliving that conversation makes me stop and have to gather my emotions. This, in 2 sentences, was the heart of it all. Once I understood, it was just a repetition of the same schedule until we got to the goal. Kickboxing and strength training at Farrell's and mental health appointments with my therapist. Rinse and repeat. I was a different person in that first month. Jessica noticed, our kids noticed, I'm sure even our dog noticed. I'm healed, hooray! Or so I thought. First, this is absolutely a journey and not a destination. You never actually get to the end. And the infamy of the year 2020 had other plans. It started with a phone call from my mom in my 6th week of the 10-week challenge. Well, I have some tough news. In my routine checkup, my scans showed some spots that are concerning. I'm going to an appointment in La Crosse later this week. Wham. Roundhouse kick of a very different kind, right? My mom had beaten breast cancer 20 years ago, but it was back. I'd of course told my parents about starting workouts at Farrell's, and despite some initial misunderstanding...
You aren't actually fighting people, are you?
They were really encouraging. But this was bad news, and a golden opportunity to derail my progress. But I decided I was going to surprise them and be there for her appointment in lacrosse. I don't think I've ever kicked that bag as hard as I did that morning. And I did surprise them, and I was standing outside the lobby as they walked up. They didn't recognize me at first. I was wearing clothes that I hadn't worn in years. As we were leaving later, my mom gave me a very emotional hug, looked me in the eyes, and told me, "Peter, you truly are a good man." I am certain I cried for most of the 2-hour drive back home. Her journey has always been in the back of my mind these past months through this entire national challenge. If she can keep fighting this fight, I can too. I had to do my 10-week challenge test out early because of the COVID-19 shutdowns. I thought for sure that I would fail and go back to my bad habits in that week after the shutdown and being the 10-week challenge runner-up. But Jessica agreed that we could order the equipment we needed and told me that if it would keep me going, we could spend the money. The 5 a.m. class group started a Friday coffee hour to get together and support each other. And along with the virtual classes taught by our amazing instructors from their basements, I got out and started jogging and doing the Couch to 5K program. My God, I had missed running. I'd been a runner most of my life, and getting back to it was incredible. I also rediscovered working out as a way to connect with Jessica. My journey got her motivated too, and we've enjoyed many running and virtual workouts together. We've made it a part of our relationship and our family, and we're modeling healthy eating and exercise for our children. Our oldest daughter, Anja, knows this for sure, but it wasn't always to her benefit. She's about to turn 7 years old as I wrote this, and last summer she tried to start a game of tag with me at the Minnesota Zoo as we toured the outdoor exhibits. After trying to catch me and failing, she looked at Jessica and said, breathless,
"No fair, Daddy is fast now."
When gyms reopened, I was the first person to sign up for classes. It was like going home again. But not everyone came back, and has happened to so many places. My home Farrell's location ultimately closed in September of 2020. I became a wandering Farrell's kickboxing nomad, and I ultimately ended up at a nearby location. But no matter where I've gone, I've found the same type of amazing people, the same program, and been welcomed with open arms. I laughed to myself just this morning as I backed out of the driveway at 4 a.m. at 20 below zero to drive 25 minutes to go punch and kick a bag all before sunrise. We continue to suffer together, and we continue to be better for it. In the end, I found what I so desperately needed with Farrell's, and I've been able to do so in the face of a mountain of insane circumstances. With their support and their community and their program, I've also found that I enjoy sharing my story. I've lost close to 140 pounds, and people who I haven't seen in a while are taken aback by the physical changes, and of course ask me what I've been doing. I love supporting others who might be just starting their journey, and I'm leaning into helping build the community that supported me. I've also been surprised by the private messages from friends who ask me what the secret is. Well, I can't speak to your journey or what you need, but I know that for me, the Farrell's program, especially cardio-based kickboxing, basically saved my life. I know that's a bold statement, but I stand behind it 100%. I don't want to think of where I would have ended up had I not taken that first step and stuck with it. I'm also very aware that not everyone has this opportunity. We're not all able to afford a gym membership or have an employer or schedule that supports one. We live in a society where stories like mine are celebrated, but we don't talk enough about lifting each other up and supporting each other before reaching rock bottom. Mental health should not be taboo. Healthy eating and exercise are not things of convenience, but are a necessity. And we need to do a better job of teaching people about them. I truly hope my story and my results in the Farrell's program inspire you, whomever you may be out there, to take that first step. That first step is hard, the work is hard, the process is not overnight, but the results are incredible. And most importantly, I'm here to tell you that yes, you can do this.
Daddy, can we move now?